Okay, good morning and welcome to our meeting today. And before we approve the minutes from the last meeting, do we have any opening remarks from Ms. Tony?
Yes, due to the governor's orders, the Community Agency Allocations Committee is meeting virtually. For all virtual meetings, members will be muted, and when they are ready to speak, they can unmute and speak at that time. The meeting recording will be available on next Tuesday on the city's website at www.cityofwinston-salem.org.
Okay, so our first order of business is to approve, review and approve the minutes from our last meeting. Are there any
Vote
comments?
to approve.
Second.
Okay, on our agenda today, Ms. Renee, what is the first item on our agenda today?
Well, I'm so sorry. It would be to discuss the two ESG applications, one for Neighborhoods Hands and United Health Centers.
Okay. And I had both of those. And if anybody else had a chance to read it, I gave Neighborhoods Hands a 70. They were asking for $50,000 for mentorship, food pantry, GED, high school diploma. I wasn't so impressed with this. Maybe it's needed. It's something. Is this something new? Yeah, as I see now. It is something new, but with no track record. And I was just wondering if anybody else read it and what they thought about it. It's just so much of what's already going on, and then we have something new. Maybe it's something else that's needed in addition to what we already have going. We don't get to make those kinds of decisions. I guess the city does. And I guess I vote to fund it. I guess I said I did if there was any funds available or enough in that packet that we would fund them, whether partially or fully. But if anybody else had any comments on this application, I wish they would speak now.
I rated it a 78. I agree with your comments.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't give it a rating, but again, it was one of those proposals that just had GED, food pantry, just so many things going on, so.
Mhm.
For some reason, I can't edit this. So for Renee, just kind of keep track of the comments.
Yes.
It seems like you open it in a read only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I did, and I
yeah. Try it again.
wait a minute. I can probably just save it to I need to.
Because I'm out of it now. Try it again.
No, I saved it as a copy. I wasn't in your version. I think I downloaded it. So let me just, I've resaved it and let me share it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Renee, did you have the average score? Or?
I didn't average score on that one. I'm sorry. I can tell you right quick. It was 49.
So that's the average staff score?
No, that's the average score for
CAT.
Yes.
But that doesn't make sense. I heard a 70 and a 78.
78. How does that?
And a 0.
Right.
And there's a 0. So should I take out the 0?
So yeah, take out the 0 for sure.
Okay. 74.
Okay,
What was staff's rating?
Staff scores were, actually, we shouldn't have done that one. That would have been handled by the COC. This one was, both of these agencies should not have been given to CAC. They should have gone to the COC. And it was, so we wouldn't have staff.
Any rating? Okay.
Right.
well, I think they wanted CAC and they can kind of decide, but I thought they wanted CAC's score.
They do. They do because they did not get scored.
Okay, but the community development staff did not score it.
Okay.
Right. That is
Is that what
correct.
you're saying?
That
Okay,
is correct.
all right. So it's just totally on CAC at this point. So average scores is 74.
Yes.
And are you all saying yes to this if funding is available?
Hmm. Maybe at some level, but
Yeah,
I
I think
50.
it should reflect our score, so it shouldn't be
Yeah.
Partial?
Partial. Yeah.
Do you have any
Okay.
particular amount that you may want to?
I'd say
16
20.
to 20.
20. That was what was finna come out of my mouth. Kim, what you thinking?
Give me just a second to get back
Okay.
to the application. Yeah, so they're asking for 50,000 if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And so I would say maybe half of that.
So half would be 25,000.
Mhm.
Okay. I can live with that. I if we had to do something, I could live with 25,000. What about you, Barbara?
Yes. The most important part of this was to me, the food pantry. I
Yeah.
think that's something that's very needed. And they only requested 10 for that.
Yeah.
The rest was the GED and the mentorship program, which I think there's a lot of things going on with that, but the food program is.
It's always, yeah. Okay. I can live with that.
So am I hearing 10,000 just for the food pantry or 25,000 half of their request?
Half of their request for me.
Have the request.
Dr. O'Neill?
For the request, it's fine, right.
Okay, okay. I think that it does that. Okay, let's move on to United Health Centers.
I had that one as well. I graded them 94. The proposal was a good one, and what they're trying to do with the homeless men, and what they've been doing is good. Something that needs to continue. And if funding is available, again, based on what my colleagues say, I wanted full funding for them.
I'm with you. I rated also 94, so great consistency there, and I agree with full funding.
I agree.
Okay.
How much were they exactly? How much were they asking for?
50, wasn't it? That's all I saw.
50,000.
Uh-huh.
I got you.
So you all were saying full funding?
Yes.
Yes.
Barbara, did you say as well?
Yeah, full funding.
Okay.
Okay, Renee, what was the average score just for the record?
94.
94. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's all of ESG. Great. So partial funding for neighborhood hands, and full funding, if available, for United Health Center.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So moving on to just the currently funded agencies, I think the easiest thing to do, unless you want to pull and discuss any one of these, is I don't have the average scores, but if there were any that were below 60, I think we had talked about the benchmark being to not fund them, but any scores above that, we would assume at the current level, unless you all wanted to discuss any.
Patrice,
Yes.
on the, it was just those two that we needed to score for ESG. Those
Okay.
two new ones. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay, so then moving on to the general fund. Okay, so the scores are in for these. And all of these are new requests. So we really need to go through the new requests, and we'll talk about the currently funded if you want to pull any of those. So let's start with the aperture. So staff scored it at 84, average score was 80.
Who had that one?
I
Did I 1108? Wait a minute. Let me just check and see.
I scored it a 90. I thought it was a well put together proposal.
Mm,
I scored it a 67.
That's a huge, that's
Yeah, I know. I
difference.
scored it high in the past. I just kind of felt like that where we are right now as a community, you know, there are some things that just takes precedence over what this proposal was about.
where are they located?
They're right on 4th Street downtown.
Okay.
But part of this proposal was making things more available. So I think that they're focused downtown right now, but I read in part of this that, you know, that they're in the new era, they're trying to make things more attainable for the entire population.
Right. And I've seen their proposal in the past and I've scored it high, but it's just right now, just some of these things, for me, don't take precedence over food, housing,
Mental health.
mental health,
Yeah.
etc. So I will go with what the group wants to do, but a lot of these things I don't even think we'll be able to get, they will be able to accomplish in this funding year due to the pandemic or outdoor gatherings.
So I'm not sure how I know our job is just to look at the proposals.
Yeah.
Last week we gave some things like River Run, you know, some of the other things that involve the arts versus the vital needs of people funding. And so I can see your point exactly on this. It's like, what is important right now? So, you know, I will come down. I still think this is an important thing for the community.
And I'm listening. I'm like you. We got a lot of arts and culture, which is good, and we got a lot of things in this the funding that we're asked to look at, such as Old Salem and the other cinemas that's going on in, you know, cultural arts things. But I'm of the opinion that you're right. We got some precedents here right now. But at the same time, if there was funding, you know, if this is new, and I hate to shut out new things completely, unless they just absolutely have no merit. And we have seen some with absolutely no merit. And if funding is available, I would say partial funding for the cinema, if funding is available, and if by the time we get down, you know, to some high dollar stuff, and there's gonna be some high dollar stuff, that
I'm
maybe
okay with that.
go
I'm
ahead.
okay with that.
Okay.
I think it's well said. And so what I'd like to say is if, as long as we're consistent with this type of approach, then I'm with you.
Okay. So
Yeah.
can we look at partial and of course look at, you know, due to availability of funds?
And they asked for what, 20?
They asked for 30.
30,000.
Yeah.
When their proposal was 22.5.
Well, which is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, but if you look what they requested for the city in the actual proposal, I think it was 22.5, or maybe I didn't add all the way up, or, but partial funding, however it is.
I'd say 15.
And I went back and forth looking at the city's strategic plans, you
Yeah.
know, what the focus was, and just right now, I mean, the people that you want to attend diverse programming are probably not economically in a position. They need other things. And maybe I shouldn't look at it like that, but.
Did I do something?
Yes,
Did
I will
that was
concur
me.
with your, I'm trying to look up here on the application, what the actual figure should be in our spreadsheet.
It is 22.5. I apologize.
Okay,
Fine,
all right.
yeah.
So, yeah. So we're saying half of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, it actually is 22.5.
Okay.
So I think I heard one of you all mention, I just want to differentiate the category. So occupancy tax funded agencies that we talked about last week, the River Run, National Black Theater Festival, Old Salem, Piedmont Film Commission, they fall under that category based on their ability to draw tourists to the area. So that they're more tourism driven and have an ability to put heads in beds. And so that's where we get our hotel tax, what we also call occupancy tax. And so it's just a difference. And so we are City of Arts and Innovation as well. And so, you know, you could argue about this arts type program. It still draws a level of energy for local residents. So these type of activities encourage local residents to come out, participate in arts and culture, versus the ones in occupancy tax has an ability to draw outside people into the city. I'm sorry?
They're more global in nature.
Yeah, they bring people into the city and then it promotes a level of economic development. So, I mean, there's room for both, but though that's how we kind of differentiate the two. I
Okay.
just want to.
Thank you.
Okay, so so this really should be, here goes my screen again. Okay, give me 1 second, I'm sorry. So 22, is it 22,500?
Yes,
It's gonna be
that's a request.
10,250.
Okay. Having some technical difficulties, but no. Okay, so I'm sorry. Now you all said partial funding And so how much are you, do you want
You
to,
said half of the 22.5.
okay. Which is, let's see.
11,250.
And is that a unanimous vote or Dr. O'Neill? And you all don't always have to do 3-0. I mean, it can be 2-1. If you don't agree with it, it's totally fine, but.
We like agreeing.
Okay. Dr. O'Neill?
I agree. I
Okay,
agree with
all right,
that.
okay.
I mean,
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to Arca, Addiction Recovery Care Association. You all vote, average score was 95, staff score was 89. So it's pretty high. They requested 99,128. It's a really specific number.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Well, this is, you know, one of those, like the reach going into the old Y. It's going to take some capital expenditure, and part of this is bringing TROSA to their old facility, and so they can move to a new. So I think I thought it was a well put together proposal that I gave it 94. I'm for full.
I gave them a 95. Again, it speaks to the fact that their numbers have increased since COVID. They need to expand their facility, need new furniture to be able to do spacing and stuff. So there's a real need here.
Yeah, I concur.
Okay, am I hearing full funding?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
I'm all about expanding. That is a need, when they have a need for it. If they happen, I'm telling you, and I know that they are familiar with them.
Okay. Big Brothers Big Sisters.
What was that number? 1145, was that me?
The case ID.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. 1145.
It's 11145.
11145. I don't know. I thought I had that.
You
Big
did.
Brothers, huh?
You did. You said you gave it a 94. You said I recommend full funding, but we'll negotiate.
Yeah. I like what they're doing with youth, you know, and they've been doing it for a long time, the mentoring and alongside of helping the growth process for these folk who don't have parents or siblings or whose parents are just not available to assist them. So I agree. Full funding for me was not a hard problem.
I rated it 93, and I'm for full funding.
I agree with both.
Okay. Bookmarks.
Bookmarks, I gave an 89.
I gave it 95.
Okay. Full funding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Flywheel Foundation. Staff gave it a 91. Kat gave it an 83.
What did I say here?
I gave it a 90. And I think a 5,000, I'm for full funding.
Yeah, full funding for that.
I gave it a 75, and there was a comment. Let me go to my comments, if you don't mind.
Take your time.
Sorry. I mean, I'm okay for funding it, you know.
Mm,
There was something that I said was missing. Sorry about that. There was something missing, and I can't remember where I put it. Okay, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good for funding. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, Forsyth Humane Society, that scored pretty high. 99 and 94.
yeah, Forsyth Humane Society can't do enough as far as I'm concerned, and they've done a fantastic job of housing and allowing for adoptions and doing what's necessary to help with animal control here in the city. So I recommend full funding for them.
And I think I agree with you, and they're trying to drop their rates so that people can
Can
make
adopt
the
more.
adoptions.
Yeah, they can help people adopt animals.
Dr. O'Neill, are you good with that?
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay. Great Commission Community Church.
Ooh, I think that was me. Great community. I said a 90, and I don't remember what that was. That proposal was about. It was.
Okay.
You can show me what my comments were, because I just right now.
Groceries, they were gonna distribute weekly groceries to communities in need.
Yeah, that's why.
And food insecurities.
That's the reason why. I knew it was a catch in there for them. But yeah, anytime we can get some food distribution going, and I would consider at whatever level that my colleagues would agree with, full or partial, either way, I'm open to that.
I know where my comment came on them, and maybe somebody could clear this up, but they don't have their 501(c)(3).
I missed.
Am I correct in, if you look on their organizational page, it says not yet obtained.
Mm.
Yep, that's what that says right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
I don't
that
use
would definitely be a factor when we review to sign, a contract. So now what we do allow, looks like they've only requesting 5,000, potentially seed money. So I think it would require Renee, if you all wanted to fund them, Renee talking to them. So if they can have it within the year, if you all approve them for money and then council approve them, if they can obtain it within a year or so, within the contract period, we typically will allow for seed money.
I gave them an 80. Didn't think their proposal was the greatest, but I agree with giving them $5,000 for seed money.
Right.
Yeah.
So they can get that, and that's the condition of getting this money.
Yeah, that's necessary to me.
Right. They've been in operation since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
they just haven't done that. So yeah.
Contingent upon.
So this really should be 5,000, right, Renee?
Right.
They had 50,000 on the thing.
What they requested.
Yeah,
They
5.
requested 50 or 5?
Yes.
Which was it? 5 or 50?
Okay.
When I was looking at it, that's why I said I needed some discussion.
50.
It had 50,000.
They in the A3 for funding request amount, they have 50.
Oh, I looked at that wrong. Okay. So their total budget is only 5,000.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
They don't have any other money here, and
Not without credentials.
Yeah.
Not at that level. Because I thought it was 50. that's why I had a big question mark here, like, what? But I would have considered because it was, doing food giveaways. But then Barbara pointed out a critical fact, not having the 501c3. And that's generally one of the factors I look at as we go down the page.
And it was a good proposal. They do food for the school students.
Yeah.
$60 a week in groceries for 30 families.
Yeah.
But, I just wish they had some partners here.
Yeah.
That, that they could partner with to get this done. But,
yeah, 50,000 this at this time.
So, I mean, you can either choose not to fund them at this point, and they could definitely apply next year once they, reach the eligibility status to apply. Or if you want to give them seed money, it's all that they would be eligible for if they are close to getting their 501c3.
I go for that one. The seed
Right.
money, like Kim said.
I thought churches automatically.
Yeah, we need some more research about what
What's
they're
going
trying
on
to
with
do
that?
and what they're saying. Yeah, in North Carolina, generally churches fall under this non-exempt status automatically. So we just need to make sure. But either way,
They still aren't eligible.
yeah, their whole budget is only 5,000. So, but I'm going to reserve that to you all at this point, and then there may be some decisions we have to make.
Actually, all of these things are missing. So it's not just that, there are other documents missing. So I would say $5,000 and say this 5,000 is to help you become, get your documents together before you can apply for some funding.
Okay.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Okay, Green Nest.
Oh, that was me again. I gave that a 92. I thought they had a great proposal. And I think they had a uniqueness going by them because they're trying to give away furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him 95. I agree with Ms. Burns. That was a good proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
I
gave them 100.
okay,
All right.
in the funding for them. I thought that was a really unique perspective.
Okay, great. My Face. Now this scored a 71 among staff and 87 for CAC.
I think they're doing some good things in the community, in the Boston Thurman community. I know that they're doing a lot of mentoring in the wake of COVID. As they said in the proposal, they gave families buckets of cleaning materials, sanitizing, soaps and stuff. I think that I want to fund it because I think that what they're doing is great for that community.
Okay, what about the others?
I don't have a reference for this one. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I'm going to yield to my colleague because I trust her judgment.
What did you think, Kim?
Yeah, I gave him I think I gave him an 80.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. It's a little bit lower. I'm trying to get back to the proposal because they're looking for.
I gave him 93 out of 100.
So it's one of these, some of these proposals just struck you a certain way, but I agree with my colleagues on this one. They have more insight into it than I do.
And when you talk about mentoring in a lot of these proposals, and you just leave it to the vast number of people, but when you talk about mentoring and name a specific, like a community,
Yeah.
knowing that you have a narrow focus, it's just a little different.
Yeah. Well, we're in agreement
We're in agreement.
For, I'm sorry,
for funding, I think it was.
For funding.
for full
They
funding.
only asked for $30,000.
Okay, so this next one's a little bit lower than the other ones. Net impact triad.
Yeah, I had them, and I gave them a 84, and I like their concept though. A Cup of Sugar initiative has everything to do with what Barbara was just talking about, a concentrated area in the community of community helping community. And when they were asking for such, and they were asked, to give a bed, you know what I'm saying? Get kids up off the floor and all of that. That's kind of struck me. And neighbors empowering neighbors, I think is a wonderful thing. And they asked $5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. Did anybody else read Impact Triad besides me? I thought it was a good one.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
did.
did. I agree with the funding level. Yes.
I'm good.
Okay, yeah, staff, I don't know why, but staff scored them 65. That almost is our cutoff for funding. But that's fine, okay. Parenting Path got 100 staff score and 74 for CAC.
What was that one? What's the number?
One was 11,152.
11,152. Let me see if that's me again. 11,152 Parenting Path. I scored it a 95. That I scored because that's part of what used to be Exchange Scan program on Northwest Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They have done a wonderful job on dealing with children who have been abused, and they're looking for some structural upgrade. As long as they've been in that building, I say 18,000 is good.
But
883.
Parenting Path, here it is.
What'd you say?
When you said the structural,
Yeah, because that's what it's for, isn't it?
let me make sure. This was one I didn't get to. Well, we just gave them $50,000 a couple of years ago. I have a good memory so far, long term.
Okay.
$50,000. I think it was 2 years ago to replace their heat and air conditioning unit and some other thing. Anybody remember that?
Yeah, I think they got some CDBG money, which is one time for capital expenses. So yes, that's right. They needed an air condition for their training room where they train parents. Yeah.
And now this is for some structural work, I think, to the building.
Windows
What
and doors.
did the staff give? What did the staff say? What did the-
Staff scored at 100.
And I did 95.
Okay.
I was not a silent neighbor, so I didn't give it a score.
Okay.
If the staff felt that, okay, we will have remodeled the building.
Yeah, when the staff that scores doesn't always know that history, Dr. O'Neill. So it's because we use staff in various departments, so they would not have some of them would not know that they've gotten this money. But it looks like, okay, it says city funds will be used to administer an air sealing inspection. So the area needed to prevent air leakage. This probably should have gone to CDBG potential.
I asked about that and she told me that's what I'm looking for now. Here it is.
Oh, lizards and snakes in the building. But they had that outdoor enclosed kind of place that was sort of a garden at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the lizards and the snakes being in there.
Yeah, and causes and the way it's sitting look like a hill or something is impacting it. Right down Northwest Boulevard, there's not a lot of land, and I can understand how snakes and lizards and things could get back in there.
Well, okay, but the thing about this proposal,
Mm-hmm.
it's under construction and rehab, which is allowable. But then you talk about some other things in that proposal about the people that you serve, but none of this money will go towards the people that you serve.
No, it's strictly construction, rehab thing for me. That's how I took it.
All right, so.
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with the participant, but in order to serve, continue to serve people in the manner in which they need the ventilation and all that involving, you know, what we just came through with, I don't see that could hurt. But that's just Jackie talking.
So construction and rehab, let's go. I'll agree with funding.
You know, yeah, okay, that's fine, but I'm just clear, you all don't always have to vote for funding if you don't agree. Now,
Right.
I think, I remember, I haven't read this full proposal, so I'm actually just looking at it, but I know before they needed like the air condition, and that allowed them to serve more families, you know, in that space. So I'm assuming that these upgrades will expand their number of participants or ability to serve more people. And I'm just, that's not me knowing for sure, but typically when they send proposals like this, that will be the reason. But you do not have to always vote for this if you don't agree with it. I'm just throwing it out there. But if you want to fund them, I can add that. So are you all thinking full funding?
I am.
Okay, that's Ms. Burns.
And
Kim,
I didn't rate them, so I'm just kind of listening to my colleagues here. So I can see it sounds like there's some good need there. So I'll have to go along with the consensus, or excuse me, not with consensus, but with the full funding.
Dr. O'Neill, you're muted.
I will go ahead for 1889,
83. 80.
939. Okay.
You all are, is this full funding okay? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Renoda House. Roof
Wait,
rehabilitation.
is this in this category? I don't remember doing so many renovation stuff.
Yeah, typically not in the general fund. So Renee, you're saying community development. What did they say about these two? Would really be CDBG potentials.
Let's see. For
So
then
I
the-
thought
The
we're
Delta's Art Center too. Their money is for facility overhaul.
Who is that?
The Delta Art Center.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This
I
is
did not
Granola
see-
House 11096.
No. What is
Oh,
it?
the wrong
Yes.
one, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's 11096.
So, I mean, their fees were for loan participation fees, shipping fees. I thought they're expanding. I mean, it's a great art center, but they're expanding their programs to represent the more of the entire community. And I thought it was a well put together proposal. But again, it's kind of like the aperture. So, where our funding amount supposed to be, it was about like half of that.
Not, they're asking for a roof renovation, right?
Let me make sure I'm on the right.
Yeah, that's what.
For the art center.
This is 11096. In section E3, it's for hosting a show.
Looks like 2 exhibits.
Yeah, like Voyage for Life and Black's Beautiful.
Black is Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yep, Voyage for Life. Looks like it's the fundings for 2 exhibits.
And not for the roof?
Right.
Renee, did you
What I
have
think.
something different?
That's what I'm looking for now. I think. Okay, come on,
Yeah, it's
computer.
definitely, it does not, in the past, I think last year, maybe that carried over from last year, but they've asked for roof repair, but looks like this time they're asking for funding for an exhibit.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I think that they're such a staple, I guess, in the community. And to support 2 new projects, I am okay with funding that exhibit.
At that level, though, I would have been to $50,000 to put a new roof on it. But I'm open.
well, now in their performance measures for FY22, okay. So to evolve with visitors, so they're going to host Voyage Life and Black is Beautiful, uphold excellence in practice and place. So they do mention here to complete roof rehabilitation project, successfully complete the reaccreditation process through the American Alliance. So it feels like it's folded into
Yeah.
their plan.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So it looks like a combination.
Yeah. And see,
Okay.
that's what happens when people, let's put in the kitchen sink. One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Actually,
right. So what do you all think?
project should move out of this category in the future.
I'm sorry, say that again, Dr. O'Neill.
I said maybe in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can tell sometime until you start reading, but maybe some of these, I don't know how to add a new category for them, or because how do you say funding for children and mentoring and food bank against somebody who said, oh, we need a new roof, or we got lizards in our office. So
Oh, I had sent it, but I don't see my phone before you call. I just want to make sure. Yeah. What do you mean, baby? What do you mean?
it's just something to think about. We've never really had this many.
I spelled that wrong.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Tree man. Where are we?
Okay, I was just making a note that these capital projects could be moved to another category. But did you all want to fund Renota House?
Yes.
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 Okay, and are we talking about full funding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Salvation Army.
Salvation Army.
Full funding.
I did, yeah, and I gave them 100 on their proposal. And what are they asking for though? I see, is it 50,000?
76, 198.
You see what I'm saying? What am I missing here? Where did I get 50 from?
Let me go back and look in that. I got
Yeah, maybe I just missed.
It's 50.
Looks
I'm
like
so sorry,
50
y'all.
for a senior program.
50,000,
Okay.
should be 50,000 on the application. That's what I'm looking at.
That's what I
The
got.
senior center program director.
Yes. And I like what they're doing, what they've always done. And this is just a program expansion, because they're dealing with 13 communities around, 311 and New Walkertown Road, and servicing the community in that space down under the hill. And they have a nice little space down there. So I'm all for the program expansion for Salvation Army. I think they've been good stewards in this city.
I agree, full funding.
Dr.
agree.
O'Neill?
I
Okay,
agree, full funding.
perfect. Sika,
Okay, I had them too. Did I get everybody this time, y'all? Renee, I'm just kidding.
I think you did.
Just kidding.
No.
Okay. Sika, what they doing, they not asking for as much, and I'm glad, but I agree that we have to do marketing beyond the walls of Forsyth County. And I think there are more regional, statewide, and beyond in bringing folk in and with the quality of work that they do. So I said full funding for Sika. Somebody else.
I agree. I gave him a 93. I thought it was a good proposal.
I gave him 94.
Full funding.
Dr. O'Neill?
I agree. Okay.
Okay. Special Olympics,
I can't say enough about them. Full funding.
okay,
Agree.
Full funding.
okay. The Poverty Revolt,
Okay, so I did have everybody. Okay, poverty revolt, and I needed somebody to help me with that. They said they're gonna put boxes in, they named 27101, 27105, 27127, and 2 other communities that they're gonna add these boxes. And what they're trying to do is have community people with their slightly things that they aren't using anymore to put in these boxes so that community folk who need something can come and get it for free.
Okay.
So I was really, this one was one of the worst proposals that I've seen put together. There's all sorts of holes in it. So
Yeah,
I agree with the concept is good, but if I just look at the proposal,
yeah, but I didn't know about that's what I got out of it.
yeah,
I told you I espoused what I got out of it. That's as far as I could go. That's why I got a big question mark right
so
here.
we need a third opinion here, Dr. Neal.
Okay, so my question is, was the $5,000 because they didn't have 501(c)(3)? They're still in the organizer phase and they're asking for seed money.
I thought it was for the boxes. Here we go again.
Okay.
So staff, y'all can answer that because I have no idea.
that's all they asked for. Shows that their operating budget is 0. So they
Yeah.
have a 0 operating budget at this point, and they are requesting 5,000.
You kind of see what happens to those boxes when they're put on the street like that. They just get overrun with junk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think $5,000 is reasonable to operate a project like that. The box is going to cost you way more than $5,000.
To build, if you're gonna build them big and sturdy. Yeah, well, I gotta, like I said, I only gave them an 84, and that was generous, and that's all I got out of it, was they gonna be a 5 boxes. That's it. To put stuff in.
I think they need to rethink and come back with a better proposal.
I do too. I think they could do a better job. at building on what, you know, what they want to do.
I agree with that.
So no
Okay.
funding?
Nah.
None.
Okay. Okay, Triad Cultural Arts.
Is that me again?
Average was 86.
Well, I have to agree because I give it an 86. So
All right, Kim, convince us.
let me get- okay, let's get to the application. Well, again, this is based on the proposal. What I think they're trying to do, you know, is reasonable, and I think their approach to it is trying to get something else into the community that it is an you know, an important concept. So, as far as the, you know, the cost effectiveness, they're asking for $69. Wait a minute, hang on a second. D3. They're asking for 34,000 for, which, you know, seems to me consistent with what their need to operate the program.
And your recommendation was funding?
I would say at least some funding, yes.
Partial funding, is that what you're saying? They requested 34,000.
Well, I think there's some dissension here. So if we have other opinions,
I don't have any, I'm not dissenting. I just need to know what you thought, because I didn't read that one. That was,
Right.
okay.
yeah, trying to let you, you know, go and spit it out what you felt about it.
If you want to go full funding, I mean,
I'm not.
look at us about, you know, what's your first recommendation, Kim?
Yeah,
My first recommendation was for full funding.
Okay,
okay.
we can go with that.
Okay,
I could go with that, Kim.
All right.
okay. Delta Fine Arts.
All right, so I'm looking at the score and I look back over the years that they have applied and we haven't funded them. And then I look at the average of organizations that will fund that's related to the arts, but we kind of forget that the Delta Arts Center is a staple in the African American community.
Mhm.
They bring national exhibits here. Whenever there's a place that needs, you know, hosting or rental facilities for events. So they're asking for money to overhaul their facilities. You know, redo the kitchen, some of the other spaces, some of the art exhibit. And we have not given them the money over the years, but I really think that we should fund them now because of their place in the community and what they stand for.
Okay.
What their facility
What the facility is, yeah.
to the community, not the organization, but what the facility provides to the community.
Yeah.
You know, if we were having a theater festival this year, they always host something after the festival. Speakers go there, do their books. I mean, it's just a staple in the community. That's the arts place for the African American community.
I agree. on the building.
Yeah, okay, I'll agree. I give it 86. I thought it was, you know, a proposal. It comes down to the need, these renovations, do they really need 90,000 for a HVAC? Well, I have to take it at their word that they do. So
Yes.
I'll go along with you.
Okay, I've copied the note about, move it to another category, because it's a capital project.
Yeah.
We had more this year than we've
Yeah,
ever had.
ever before. Sure have.
Yeah. Yeah, nonprofits generally, when they raise money, or receive grants, they're for specific programs or activities, and general capital and things like that is really, I'm certain, hard to find financial support for that. So
Right.
I
But-
understand why they're coming to the city, because a lot of the funding sources are drying up. That doesn't mean, though, that we'll have the capacity to add all of these things. I do want to point that out. These will be your recommendations, but once we start trying to balance the budget, it may be difficult. Like I just noticed, is this Big Brother's request, was it 200,000 or is it 20,000? It is 200,000. Okay.
You
Yeah,
go
so
from 20 to 200, no.
So when you add even just this new requested column up, we're talking $1 million of new requests, and not even looking at the currently funded yet. So that was just a point I just wanted to make.
I missed that 200 for Big
Huge.
Brothers Big Sisters. I totally missed that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I got you. I see now what you did. So when you add that column up with requests, so if you look at Greater Commission, it wouldn't be 50, it would be 5.
Yeah, because
Because we only gave 5,000.
Right.
Yeah, so some of it would change a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you all didn't fund these two, and this would be 5, and then this would be 11,250. So still, I mean, even if we didn't look at, say we left off, it's still going to run, I mean, close to $1 million in terms of, so request is definitely $1 million. So just to subtract out 11,000 and 50,000, I mean, we're still up there if you round it up. I mean, that's not of your concern, of course. I mean, we want to know what you would fund if their funding was available. But we'll just have to see in terms of what we can actually realistically fund in this current budget year, especially if we are funding these existing agencies. So 1.9 million in general fund request.
Hold up a minute, hold up. The Forsyth County District County office has gone from 45 to 177.
What line are you looking at? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that I know the history around that. They used to be funded partially by the county. And so that funding has ended. So the county is no longer funding them. So now they're wanting the city to fund them, supplementing what the county has decided not to fund. So that's why that went up.
Yeah.
And you're talking about renovations. Look at the Winston-Salem Theater Alliance again, and they're asking for $100,000 for expansion.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was, great proposal, but in light of, we having this little many series going here about this funding sources, the correct funding sources. I don't know.
Yeah, I looked at it. I've been looking at it and decided this year, as I review, I would prioritize a little bit. Just kind of look at where we are as a city, look at our strands, look at the strategic plan, and really kind of prioritize. And I'm not saying that a lot of things we can't fund, but we have funded, or we have recommended funded for at least 5 different programs within ESR. 30-some thousand here. This is 150. There were some other small proposals. Am I not correct? That really adds up to a lot of money. The tax program, the home program, just 5, I think it was 5 different proposals.
Yeah, they typically qualify for different funding categories. So let's see, experience. So this here is our general fund. And so this just helps in with general operating costs. The other funding categories are federal funds. And so emergency solutions grant is federal. So they kind of have this very specific, for housing and emergency housing there. And let's
Those
see.
are the ones I don't really want to touch those. Because I think it falls
Income
into-
tax credit.
Right.
But this category is just general, and typically it helps people with their general operating dollars. It's not a very specific program. It wouldn't qualify for like federal funding. Yep.
Right. I feel it. This year I'm just feeling a little bit different about how I'm looking at these proposals, and in terms of some priority.
Yeah.
250 for the Arts Council. I mean, good proposal, great things for the city, but just my headspace in terms of the best way to use this money is just not there this year.
And can we go ahead and look at the Theater Alliance, because it's talking about renovating the Bluebird Cab Company at $100,000 to increase, diversity on the board, to give more space to under one roof, more performances, a scene where they build a shop where they build their scenes and all of that stuff, and costume storage. And I'm just, like you said, wouldn't that be more what we've been talking about under the construction?
Yeah.
Rather than the general fund. But,
So you all scored it a 92.
yeah, they had a good proposal. Oh, that wasn't
Yeah.
the issue, but in light of our conversation now, it just sheds some light on things are not kind of being done the way they usually are.
So
And,
again,
and for me too, if we funded you for a capital project before, I don't think we should be funding another one. I mean, and so we voted here on, was a proposal sufficient?
right.
Yes, and give you what, but now when you start looking and you bring to our attention how much we're trying to fund here, let's look at prioritizing. You got money for renovation before. Let's look at it helping others who might be in need of renovation money.
Well, I think with the Theater Alliance, I gave them a 90. Again, they have a need. That building has some problems where they're currently located. And so I think it's very much like some of these others we've talked about. They're wanting, I don't know why this year, but it seems to be coming to. So, I think we should treat it with an even hand.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. but what was the even hand? Partial funding, full funding? In light of these, all the construction, I don't, I'm like you, if money's available, but gosh, guys, this is a little bit more difficult.
Right. So the Delta Fine Arts, that I think the ratings were, we gave them full funding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, their score was lower than what the Theater Alliance is. So
I like the proposal
between the two.
And you know what? If we, Lord have mercy, if we gave based on just what the proposals look like, or how they miss and how they all over the place, we would never fund anybody. Because the only, I'm serious. The only the top folk, really who continuously get this big money do a jam up job on their proposals because they've done it so often.
It's the same proposal over and over.
Proposal over and over and over again. And like we're trying to allow new stuff to come in, where we can. But if we just, strictly went on, is this a good proposal or not? A lot of this stuff would not be funded, and they have some great concepts in some of these things that need our full attention to. But then how do we rectify it if we can only do what we can do?
Well, Jackie, the thing last week, Patrice told us twice that we should look at the proposals. And so I'm trying to keep that in mind.
We do. But then Kim, if you're like myself and Jackie, I think I've been here probably the longest. So I see the repeat of the proposals of over the past, I know more than 5 years.
Yeah,
I see the repeat patterns.
I appreciate your perspective because this is my first, I've been Virgin
This
Solution
is-
grants, but
Yeah, looked at them a little bit different
yeah.
of where we are as a city in terms of our needs and priorities.
Yeah.
And to Miss Tanya and to our other young lady, it's not that, you want the city to grow, but the expectation of the panel is not to grow. It's to remain the same, and that's pretty much putting a ceiling on our head, Renee. And that's not you guys is called, you know what I'm saying? But if we want the city to grow, wouldn't you expect our thinking to grow a little bit more and understand what these proposals about more and more each year? And like Barbara said, we've done it enough times to know whatever is repeat, whatever is good, and has been good just by being a citizen of this community. But you added
a new category in the review, and that was for them to put in there how many low income people that they will serve. And do you know the majority of these grants didn't even answer that page? Left that page blank. So I looked at them a little bit different this year. I gave my comments like I was supposed to on the proposal, but I was always thinking in the back of my mind, okay, what are we prioritizing this year? Not giving people groceries who need groceries versus a festival that may never happen.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting that in there. And so we can go back, group, to the Theater Alliance. And Mr. Kim, would you give us your feedback?
Well, again, I'm kind of conflicted here with what
Give your honest feedback from reading the proposal, not what we've been
I thought
jabbering.
it had a substantial documented need, and that what they're proposing is sound. It's whether we have the funds. If we had funds for everything, we'd say no problem. So, I think at this stage, all we can do is try to rate these proposals and let the process take over from there. Again, I appreciate your perspective. This is my first time looking at any of these general funds. I have, this is new to me. So I really appreciate and respect your perspective on it. But, you know, so how do I answer that? I'm all I can say is that I think that they have a 90 and that we should apply that to this process and give a funding proposal based on that.
Okay.
So I would say that, you know, at this point, what's going to come down, it sounds like in the crunch, there's way too much proposal out here for what's going to be accomplished. But there's going to have to be some hard decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of these, I don't know what a renovation does. If you can't get full funding, do you go forward with it? You don't replace half an AC, you know, you either do it or you don't.
Well, as Ms. Tony said to us earlier, our job is to read the proposal and decide on its merit based on this committee and give our recommendations. You know, then they will go through another process where the city council will sort of prioritize too.
Right.
So we'll just, you know, I will agree with you. It was a good proposal.
Well, I recommend it full
To go
funding.
with you, you know, do you want to recommend it at full funding?
I would, yes, I would like to recommend is full funding.
And I did, because that was my score. I scored them pretty high too, because I thought it was a good proposal, but in light of the conversation, I recommend full funding.
And Dr. O'Neill, you as well?
I'll go with full funding.
Okay. Okay, so we're done with the new general fund request, which is great. The currently funded, we don't necessarily need to go through all of these unless we need to review Phoenix Rising. But if the scores are, they're all above 70. And we may want to talk about, if you want to talk about Spearmint and Self-Reliance. So those would be the only two I would pull, and the rest I would assume at least current level.
Didn't we just fund the Arts Council in another area too? Go in general funds up there?
The Arts Council. I don't think so. I think this should be the only place. Okay, so typically what we do with currently funded is start with what they are currently receiving. So it will be this column here. Some of these have requested more, so it might be worth us kind of quickly, if there's any you think should have increases, we can discuss those.
Or decreases?
Or decreases, yes, you have that right to make those. Let's just quickly go through them really quick, because so it won't be, so we'll be just really clear. So the Arts Council, see, they receive, currently they're receiving 217,360. You all scored them at 80.
So I said current level.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Everybody okay with current level funding?
Mm.
I'm good. I didn't
Okay.
back that one.
Okay. How about authoring actions? This year they are requesting additional 5,000. You all scored them a 92.
Current level.
Current
Okay.
level.
Current level.
Center for Creative Economy, they're currently receiving 25,000. They want a $10,000 increase. You all scored them a 92.
I'm looking at the staff score too here, and I've said this for a very long time. I don't see any results from some of these projects. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm willing to go back to 25 for them.
Okay.
Just go 25.
Okay.
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 All right. Experiment and Self-Reliance. They are currently funded at 85.
85.
I'm looking at the wrong column. Yeah, 85,230, and they are requesting 150,000.
85.
Current level.
Yes.
Okay. I apologize. Let me go back to Author in Action. They actually didn't receive any funding the current year. But because they didn't, I guess they didn't apply.
They didn't apply.
Yeah, so they applied in FY20, but didn't apply here. So essentially, they could have kind of gone into the new category, but they've been funded previously. So do you want to fund them at the 5,000 level?
Only if I remember correctly, we gave them 5,000 for seed money. Did they meet the requirements for the seed money, like documents?
Yes,
stuff?
they did.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So why not 10 then? If it's available.
Yeah, yeah.
If they you know, prove to be, you know, to use their money and everything in the city is okay, I'm okay with it. With 10,000 on them.
Okay,
But
so
I'm
I mean,
open.
that'll be an increase. So this would be one that we would be increasing just based on previous dollar amounts, but that's fine. If you want to do 10,000, that is their requested amount.
What do y'all say, staff? What do you think? It's still stay at the current level?
Yeah.
I thought we were going 5.
Okay, 5.
Yeah. It was something that they were doing and I can't quite remember now, but it was about building businesses.
I don't remember.
Author in Action, no, they deal with at-risk youth, and they kind of develop them through arts and poetry and spoken word, and they through expression are helping young people.
They learn how to make movies and
Oh,
expressing their views, and yes.
I don't know why.
mm.
Okay, so did we say ESR at the current level?
Yes.
Okay, and then the DA's office. So as Dr. O'Neill pointed out, they're currently receiving 45,000 from the city, and that's what we've been giving them.
Current level.
Current
Level.
Okay. Y'all didn't hesitate on that one, okay. Institute for Dismantling Racism, they are receiving 45,000, but it looks like they
They went
request
down.
less?
It seemed like they requested less, don't it?
At their
Yeah.
requested level.
Requested level.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, I mean to put requested level. Unless that's a mistake, Renee, you think
I'm
that
gonna
might be?
look right quick. I'm putting that in. Hold on.
Well, we'll just put their requested level, which is less, and if that's different, it still would
Okay.
be,
We at the current level,
it'll
yes.
be current level if it's not the actual reduction.
Okay.
It is. Come on.
Yeah. What is Callidium? Callidium?
Palladium.
Callidium,
That's
Callidium.
yeah, it's sort of music.
Music Science Center.
Used to be SciWorks.
Yeah.
And so merger of SciWorks and the Children's Museum.
Okay. 172?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
No, down. Yeah.
Okay.
Lead Girls.
Did they get, I know those $5,000 were seed money all that time, twice. Did they get their documents?
So they,
Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Kim.
Well, I thought their proposal was very complete and intact.
It was. It really was. It really was. But did they get the documents in?
Renee, did Lead Girls, are they eligible for full funding at this point?
I'm looking now.
Because that was twice we gave them seed money.
Yeah, and the goal really with seed is for them to only be on there no more than 3 years max. It used to be
Right.
2 years, but to develop the capacity within that time frame to then apply for full funding. So we don't want them to be seeds forever, and we do
Right.
offer capacity building training for seed agencies so they can. So they're asking for more. So they would have to check off all of the boxes for full funding.
They do have an audit. They have a 501c3, and I just clicked out of it, whatever it was. They did have a 990. Oh goodness, I just clicked out of Neighborly. I'm sorry.
Is there a reason why that asterisk is by the ink
Seed.
on it?
That's to show us a seed funded.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, she can find that later. I'll just remember them for being a 2-time seed recipient. So I would go with the 10,000 if they completed everything that they needed to do, become a fully eligible agency.
Full funding for me too, but I gave him a 92 anyway.
Full funding.
Okay. Now, Phoenix Rising, I don't know, I guess this wasn't scored by CAC, but it looks like staff scored them at 100, which is significant. This is an adult drug treatment court, and a partnership with the courts, the administrative office of the courts to run this. And so now, Renee, let's verify. They can't be asking for 20,000.
Maybe they got some other funding and then they stopped being.
Say you wish.
I don't think that's the case. They've always asked for 35. That's always been our contribution.
On their application, under funding request amount, they have 20,000, and under operating budget, they have 35,000.
Well, I say they need to get what they requested.
Okay.
I mean, come on, you got to pay attention.
Yeah, this one's, it doesn't matter. It's probably high enough level to where if they made a mistake, council may adjust it. But that's a valid point. We can only give them what they requested.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And then Shepherd Center. Looks like they've requested less, and I just don't think that's true. I mean, I know I would be shocked.
What do they usually get? 25?
So they've been getting 15,000, and I know he's been asking for more every year. And maybe he just thought maybe if he get go at 5,000, it might be more of a chance. So you all rated them high.
I say fund them. Yeah, they do a great work anyway. I'm surprised they asked for such little, but fund them.
They scored high, so.
Do you want to fund them at their request or their current?
20.
The 20. What about you, Kim? What you thinking?
Where's their request? I don't think I had it in Neighborly, and I'm looking on the city site. Where do I find their proposal?
On the first page, sure. Oh,
in Neighborly, under funding request amount, they have $20,000 on their application.
You see, I don't see that because I don't see anything in Neighborly that's not mine. I don't think I.
You have to open it up and look at the cost effectiveness page. But
Okay.
And it's not on the websites. I think it was oversight for some reason.
Okay, so I'm not gonna do that right now, but anyhow, I'll just go along with the team.
Okay, so this would be requested amount.
20,000.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the YMCA, Youth Incentive Program, they are currently receiving 66,000 and they are now asking for 120,000.
66.
At the current.
Yay, we got through it. I think this is it.
And we saved a few dollars.
Phew.
Let's hope.
Yeah. I think you all are done. You've gone through everything. Is that right, Renee?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
I'm sure Renee has a couple more out there for us somewhere.
Oh, yeah, she gonna start flip. Oh, God.
I have one question though of everybody. The Center for Creative Economy, what was decided on it?
That was a,
Current level. That's
it
what
says
it said.
25, or was it 25? I had a question about that and I scored them a 92 though. You know, expanded focus on women and minority-owned businesses.
Right. But
That's
let's look, yeah. And I think sometimes the staff comments include a little historical knowledge about their performance
Mhm.
past. So I always try to look at their scores too, because they know how they may have performed in the past.
Yes.
Yeah, staff scored them 78.5. But you all said current level, which would be 25,000.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions, Renee, you have for the committee or?
Not that I know. We talked about ESG and we've gone through all of these. I believe that is it.
So,
Fantastic.
go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to personally thank you all for just this hard work. 3 people, although it went so smoothly with you 3. So actually, I think that was a blessing in disguise. We didn't have our full, I think, 9-member committee, but I do appreciate you all reviewing all of these applications and scoring and doing the allocation. So that was a lot of work, and we appreciate that. There were 2 members voted in on Monday. I don't have
Well, they can
my.
take the rest of the, they can take the rest of the cases then. We'll just off into the sunset.
You say that now, Jackie, but you're careful.
And,
So I'll tell you their names. It's Miss Shonda Holmes and Patricia Burton.
Okay.
yay.
Yeah, so they'll receive a letter congratulating them. The timing is strange because you all are done with your work, but at least they have been voted on by council. So when we go into our next year, they will be in place if they continue to want to serve, because the terms are like 3 years. So and if your term is up, we will be glad to renew it for another term, because you all are fantastic on the committee. The other thing I will say is I may be calling on you before our next kind of CAC review time, so that won't happen until next January. But the city has received, well, will be receiving, if you've probably seen in the newspaper, $55 million in American Rescue Plan money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it may be that a portion may go to assisting nonprofits in some form who have been affected by COVID-19. So I'm saying all that to say, if you are willing and available when this comes up, it may be that we need some citizens to review some applications related to that. And so this is so new and early, but I'm just throwing that out there. So if you get an email from me later on, a couple of months from now, just kind of know that's what that is about. So we've utilized another committee, our Citizen Bond Oversight Committee, to review some grants for social justice and anti-poverty, which is not their charge. They review bond projects, but they did that, and they may be overtapped. So just a FYI going forward.
Okay.
Now, during the budget process, I will review your recommendations to council. And so there will be a meeting that I will invite you all to attend. It'll probably be virtual. And with the finance committee, they would want to just thank you and recognize you for your work on this as well. So you'll get an email from me or Renee about that.
Okay.
Okay, so as your outgoing chair, again,
Outgoing.
Where you going? Where you going?
I just want to say that, Kim, I think you've been indoctrinated this go round. So
I believe so.
why don't you sharpen up on your Robert's Rules of Order?
Okay.
But I have enjoyed this work, and I keep doing it because I think we provide a service to the city. And it's funny to me how I can recall a lot of these grants and what they were going to do 3 years ago. But if you ask me today, I won't remember. But I can remember 3 years ago. But anyway, as we end this session, can I get a motion to dismiss?
So
Can I ask one question before we dismiss? My
Okay.
calendar has a meeting on April 2nd and the 16th.
we did second. We took care of that today, didn't we?
You all,
So I think we can take that off my calendar.
you can take all the rest of the meetings off of your calendar. You
Then I'll
all
make a
did a
motion
great
to
job
dismiss.
getting through this. Yeah. And it's not common that you all will get through all of this with only three people in this record amount of time. But I think because it's 3 people, you all did a great consensus and you fed off of each other. And so great job. So you are done officially for this season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Can I get a second on dismissal?
Amen.
All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Renee, for
All right.
keeping us
Yeah.
all together here.
And scamming the
welcome.
people out of us. And
All right.
you're always
Bye.
our leader.
Thank you. Thank you
Enjoy
all.
springtime.
Okay, yay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.